Hey, good evening, everybody. Welcome in. It's Casey with New World News tonight, and it's November 1st. Today's Sunday, November 1st, 2020. We are just 2 days out. In 48 hours, poll results will start rolling in from states, and we will start getting an idea of how this election went. What I wanted to talk about today and tomorrow leading up to Election Day, which I may be live on Election Day, so we'll have to see. Make sure you're subscribed to get that notice, is the polls. The polls are a huge story. In 2016, we all know what happened. Hillary's leading by 7. Hillary's leading by 9. Hillary's leading by 87, blah, 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 blah. And it was a crushing defeat for her because the polls were wrong. And why were the polls wrong? Well, two big reasons. One is Trump is not a normal candidate. He never has been. He never will be. Donald Trump is not Washington, D.C. politics. It's just not him. And so the polls can't possibly detect what's going to happen with his elections any better than anything else. So what's status quo before is not with Trump. The second reason, and this is what I saw on the Ben Shapiro show and some other shows, is people are scared of backlash, of admitting that they vote for Trump. And I'm going to evaluate on this and dig a little deeper on this, but let me say that again. People that are voting for Trump, and this is why they call it the silent majority. This happened in 16 and it's happening again in 20. There's no question. Nobody can argue this is true. People do not openly admit to voting for Trump as much or as easily as they will for Joe Biden. Now, I know people are going to say, well, what about all these Trump parades and signs and flags and boat parades and golf carts? Yeah, that happens. Of course it happens. There's rallies and all these people. But when a national poll like Reuters or CNN or Fox or whoever calls somebody up randomly, and it's supposed to be anonymous, but it's not in all cases, and says, who are you voting for? They're not as apt to be like, I'm a Trumpster, because the backlash that you get is just terrible. Trust me, go spend a few minutes on Facebook and social media and see how the Democrats and the lefts and the liberals treat the people that are Trump supporters, even if they're being respectful and just like, I vote for Trump. Nothing else, not attacking them, not calling them sheep or demtards or idiots or all this stuff that we see. Just saying I vote for Trump, it's like, God, they just attack them, and it's insane. I've seen it. I literally have seen it. Yes, Trump people do it back to Democrats. It happens back and forth, but not anywhere on the level of shaming people because they're a Trump supporter. It's incredible. And so that causes people that do vote for Trump and support him to not openly admit it. I'll give you guys a perfect example, and I'm not going to speak on my politics either way, but no matter who I vote for, if I come over to my other YouTube channel where I have hundreds of thousands of viewers and tell them who I'm voting for on either direction, I'm going to lose a huge amount of audience. And so I just don't say it because I am fearful of the backlash and the shaming either way that I lean. And some people assume that I lean a certain way, and they may be right, and they may be wrong. And that's sad that you can't back a candidate. You can't support a political candidate in this country without ruining your life, your business, a lot of things. You can't even say you support certain policies in some cases, and you are attacked. That's not how this country was built. The democracy of the 1700s and 1800s under our forefathers was not built so that we were fearful of having a political position. But welcome to 2020, you guys. And that's kind of my dig in there deeper, is that people get attacked. And so these polls are wrong, and they're wrong for that reason because people aren't going to say it. If it's completely anonymous, you're going to get a bigger, wider array of people who will admit, and then that's why the polls close, and that's what you see from certain people. In fact, we have one guy the Trafalgar, who came on and said, they got it right in 2016, and they did it because they made it completely anonymous to the people that were giving them their poll thoughts. And at first they did it without the anonymousness, and Biden was ahead by 5, 7, 8, 9 points. And then they redid it with the exact same people and said it's completely anonymous. Give us your real voting and answers. And it went from Biden being 7 or 8 or 9 points ahead to Biden being ahead by 1 point. All those people turned and became Trump supporters that is telling. That's hugely telling. And these are the only guys that got it right in 16. And they're predicting again that if the polls were honest, it would be almost a dead heat, and that Trump only needs to win a few of these swing states, Florida, Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Ohio, to close the door. And I just think that they are onto something, but we'll have to wait and see for Tuesday. So what do you guys think about that whole anonymous poll results and the polls that were wrong, so wrong in the Hillary election, and now possibly being a complete deja vu repeat here in 2020 of what we saw in 2016? I'm not concerned necessarily with who you're voting for or what you think. Just tell me your thoughts. We're just talking about the polls and how they work and how they operate and the anonymity and why they were so wrong in 16 and why they might be wrong again in 20, and what people's thought processes were on those. So American elections, presidential elections and poll results, to me, my opinion, I think polls should be illegal, because polls influence people. People see polls like, oh, Biden's winning by 10%, I don't need to vote. That happens. That's legitimate. I think polls should be wiped out. They don't help either side. I think they're stupid. I think the discussion and the back and forth on polls that are never right should be outlawed. I think election polls and poll taking should be illegal. It should be banned. But what do I know? I'm not a politician or a government agency, but whatever. That's just what I think. So I want to turn it over to you guys. Tell me what you think about the 2016 poll results versus this year's poll results, and what you think is going to play out. Not just who will win or not win, but why these polls are how they are. So thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. Have another video for you tomorrow, a day before election leading up. And again, I may do a live show on Tuesday. See how busy I am and see if I feel like it. But please, if you don't mind, subscribe to this channel and don't miss any of the future videos, because up until this election and after, and all the mayhem and chaos that might follow, I will cover on this channel. And as always, I appreciate all of you guys watching, leaving your comments and your opinions. I'll try to read them and respond to as many as I can in the coming days. Have a wonderful night, guys. Wonderful rest of your Sunday, and I'll see you tomorrow.